So get a witch's shawl on, a broomstick you can crawl on. We're gonna play.
All right, so do I have everybody's attention?
Yeah!
How we doing tonight, party people? You guys having a good time so far?
Yeah!
I'm so very, very glad to hear that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if we have not been formally introduced, my name is Zod Corey, the Sword Devil. That's right, folks, I'm a sword-swallowing daredevil. Now, show of hands, who here has ever seen a circus sideshow before? We got a couple of you. Kind of.
My mom.
Folks, if you've never seen a circus sideshow before, I'm going to fill you guys in just a little bit on what you're liable to see here during this show. So in the late early 1900s, there was a man you probably heard of by the name of P.T. Barnum. You guys know that guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so he developed what we call today the the museum show, or the 10-in-1, meaning that you would see 10 acts under one tent. Now, the sideshow would be literally off to the side of the midway before you went into the big top to see a circus. Hence the name sideshow. It's the place where you had your freaks, your geeks, ex-wives, that kind of thing. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Some of you are offended right now. I'm just going to kind of go with it.
I love this.
Right? So, to give you a prime example of what you would see at a circus sideshow, there was a man in the late early 1900s by the name of Arthur Plumhall. This was a gentleman that they called the King of Torture. Now, they called him that because he would do things like take meat skewers and shove them through his body without bleeding. He would ram, jam, and cram ice picks, screwdrivers, and solid steel spikes directly into the center of his head. Now, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, what I have in my pocket right here is a solid steel chromed 20-penny nail. Sir, do me a favor. Will you hold that for just 1 second? Just make sure it doesn't flex, fold, bend, collapse in any way. It's a real nail, right? It's kind of hard to fake a nail.
It's the real deal.
Okay, well, I know it. Tell them.
It's the real deal.
All right. It's a real nail, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Now, what would you say if I told you that I was going to take this solid steel spike and I was going to drive it directly into the center of my head?
Do it.
Stop encouraging me. I'm clearly irresponsible. So, ladies and gentlemen, the way that I would do this, driving a steel spike into the center of my head, would be with a hammer. Now, I'm from Maryland. Anybody from Maryland? Okay, then one person is going to know where I'm coming from. I always have my trusty crab mallet. Now, here's what I'm going to do, folks. On the count of 3, I'm going to drive this spike into the center of my head. Are you ready? This is not a magic trick. Here we go. 1, 2. Are you guys nuts? You're really just going to let me do this? Seriously? I've been back here at the bar hanging out. I tipped. I thought we were friends. All right.
Wait.
So the joke's on you guys because that's not actually even the center of my head. If I follow a vertical axis down and a horizontal axis across, that puts the center of my head right about here.
Oh, God.
Now, so far I've only taken it about halfway. I'm about 1.5 inches away from lobotomizing myself.
Oh, my God.
Now here, if you guys want to get a really good look.
No thanks.
No.
Ah.
Oh, my God.
Can anybody else taste purple, or is that just me? All right, now here comes the really tricky part, actually pulling it out.
Oh.
Might be stuck.
Oh, my God.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is why they call me the human blockhead. Thank you very much.
Oh, my God.
Might be a little blood on there. Oh, no, wait, it's not. We're good.
So don't give it back to me.
Oh, up here? Hey, it's a real nail. At least we know that for sure now.
Oh, my God.
Now, typically, I'm not one to pick my nose in public. My mother always taught me against it. Unless, of course, I have the proper instrumentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I have right here, some of you may not be old enough to know exactly what this is. This is an ice pick. Before you had ice coming out of the refrigerator in your own home, you used to have somebody bring it to you in a giant block, and you'd have to break it down with a mallet and one of these. Now this is how I like to pick my nose.
No, no, no.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Ah, there we go. And a couple of cranks for good luck. Now this is one of those things I probably should have said beforehand. Kids, please do not try this at home. Wait until you get to school and have a bigger audience.
think I
so you can
would've
make a little money.
died?
No, I'm just kidding. Terrible
I
idea.
wanna die.
Oh man, it's tight in there. Let's try to pull this out. Oh, that's really tight. Oh man. All right, I think I'm lodged into some cartilage. Can you help me? Please? Can you just grab a hold of that and just pull it straight out? Oh, goodness, thank you so much. I thought I was going to have to leave it in there.
Oh, wow. That's a lot.
I'm
Well,
taking
the funny
a
thing about
video
that is
of
the first
this.
time I ever did that in front of
Mom,
anyone,
I've been taking a
believe
video
it or
of
not,
this.
they told me that I was sick. Can you believe that? Well, there's only one way to know for sure, and that's by taking my temperature.
Oh.
So what I've got right here is a digital meat thermometer. Now we're going to let this calibrate for just a second so that it starts to pick up the temperature of the room. About 80.8, 80.7. So we're about 80 degrees, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this meat thermometer. I'm going to shove it to the back of my head, and then we're going to take my temperature. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you sound so enthusiastic.
I'm ready.
I'm taking a video of this.
Don't do it?
No, keep going. Keep
All right, we all
going.
got to go home. She said don't do it.
This is for my social media. I need
This is for your social media?
Yeah.
I'm not going to make you popular. There we go.
All right. Oh my god.
Now do me a favor.
Oh my god.
We were at about 80 degrees. What's the temperature like now?
90, it's climbing, it's 93.9 right now, 94.
It's because it's getting hot in her. So take off all your clothes. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. It's not that kind of show. I was told explicitly family friendly.
Wow.
Tastes like turkey. Have you guys had enough of that yet?
Probably.
You have some mixed feelings, don't you? That's all right. I'm used to that. So now, all right. So I'm gonna like ease off that just a little bit. We've got a mixed crowd. I assure you that I've got just a little bit of something for everybody. You guys want to see a little bit of magic?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's some good news and some bad news. The bad news is I'm not a magician. The good news is I have a really good time deceiving people. Now, some of you may have noticed a little chipper walking in here today. I got a spring in my step. Like this one right here. Now, you guys are probably wondering, why on earth do I keep a spring down into my sock?
So you can shove it up your nose like everything else?
I don't shove everything up my nose, thank you very much. Come on, we're all adults here. I think. Because as you can imagine, I travel a lot. I spend a lot of time on trains. And I get really, really anxious. I have very disturbing anxiety. So the way that I deal with that is by focusing on something small that takes a little bit of finesse. So I pull the spring from my sock, I take the ring off my finger, and this is what I do repeatedly, over and over and over, chanting a mantra in my mind, is I take the ring and I put it on the spring. And I know it probably seems boring, but it helps a lot. Take the ring off the spring, put it back on the spring. I pick it up, I put it back. It seems really, really easy, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put my hand over it just like this. One of you guys wanna help me out? Yeah, come over here. So this is how I get $5 off carnies all day long. And they hate me for it. So you saw me take the ring and put it over the spring several times. Okay, so here, you take the ring and the spring, and the exact same way, just do exactly what I did. Just pick the ring up and bring it off the spring. This is actually a really good way to test someone's level of intelligence. Just pick up the ring, take it off at the spring. Just like I did. Do you need me to demonstrate again? Let me show you how to do it. Okay. It's really, really easy. All you do is you take the ring and the spring, and you separate them just like that. Is it that hard, really? All you do is you pick it up, and you put it down, just like that. Can you do it? Okay. All right, what's your name? What is it?
It's Wednesday.
No, it's Saturday. What's your name?
It is
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
Adams.
my
Okay.
dudes.
All right, can I see that? All right, thank you very, very much.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
That was nothing. You're clapping.
Sarah, it is Wednesday,
That was
my dudes.
nothing. That wasn't even cool. You guys like card tricks?
Yeah, sure.
All right, I don't know a lot of card tricks, but I know this one. Now this is really good for people that are just right up front when you can get a really good look at it. So what I have here is an ordinary deck of bicycle cards, right? And I promise we're getting to some good stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the cards out of the deck, and you guys can all see right up here in the front that it's a full deck, all different cards, right? So here's what I'm going to do. One of you guys want to help me out? No. Oh, come on.
She does.
First impressions are everything. I'm really bad at it. It's not going to be anything weird, I promise. It's not going to be anything weird. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the deck of cards, and I'm going to flip them just like this, all right? And at any given time, you tell me to stop, all right? And when you say stop, the card that's lying on the top is the one you're going to take, okay? All right. You just tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Okay. Take that card off the top. Don't show it to me. Show it to everybody else. So you see, like I said, folks, I'm not a magician. And whenever everybody's seen it, go ahead and put it back in there. I'm not a magician, but I am a freak of nature. And I have this really uncanny sense of smell. So your card is there. I'm putting everything back. I'm going to ruffle these cards one more time. And using nothing but my sense of smell. You need to wash your hands. Would this happen to be the card?
Yeah.
You guys all see that? Oh, we're not done yet. Now, a lot of people would say that I kind of cheated. Because if you look closely at all these cards, they're actually all the same.
Oh my.
So for those of you in the back, you're going to have to go on the expression that's on her face. Thank you very much. See, I told you it wasn't that weird.
Yeah, it's pretty. I can do the same thing as him.
So how do you want to do this? Do we want to split this up into 2, 3s? Because I know everybody likes to mingle.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to stare at me and listen to my awful voice for, you know.
Yes. 2 threes?
2 3s?
What did you say?
Do we want to split this into 2s, into 3rds?
3s.
3s? Okay, we can do that. So how about this? I'm sure some of you by now have heard that I swallow swords. Have you guys heard that? Yeah. Little rumor going around? Okay. So here's what I'm going to show you guys. Then you're free to go about your business. Now, a lot of sword swallowers, myself excluded, usually start out with one of these. This is what I've come to call the Walmart special. Because you used to be able to buy these in a pack of 6 at your local Walmart, not so much anymore. Now, the reason I still carry one of these around is because that it's so thin, it's so lightweight, and it shows everybody that it has nothing to retract or fold into. I like it being so light because the only thing separating it from my beating heart is about 0.5 millimeter of esophageal lining. So what that means is once I insert this into me, Pay close attention to the hook, the top of the hanger right here, and you're going to actually see it beating with my heart.
Ooh. Okay.
Just like that. So here's how I like to do this one. Once I do that, if you guys can see it moving with the beat of my heart, if you guys like what you see, and you want me to kick it up a notch and do something kind of crazy, maybe even downright stupid, make as much noise as your parents say you can, I guess.
Woo.
You guys want to see something dumb?
Yeah.
Yes.
Marty,
Ta-da.
got it.
Yo.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is why they call me the man with the iron throat. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Odd Corey. We're going to take a little bit of a break and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We'll all meet back
We'll
here.
figure it out.
Thank you very much.
Dad, you're gonna go pass out. You're gonna go get some cold air.
I have no gag reflex. Like, so I mean, to see somebody else doing what I know would make me hurl. Yeah,
16.
I have a very.
You know, in certain places, that's a really great pickup.
What was? I missed it.
It's gonna pause for a while.